Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, NFL news and the Hall of Fame game recap. The NCAA makes some rule changes. NBA news, including the announcement of the Christmas games, and Evolution 2018 is in the books. Recaps, reads, resets, and so much more starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another fine edition of Debate Amongst Friends, live on YouTube and only YouTube. I am your moderator, the Professor John Guy, and always by my side, the reigning, defending, undisputed podcast king himself, the architect, Brock Ocean. How you doing today, sir?
The podcast beast, Doc Ocean here. I'm doing good, man. How are you doing?
I figured let me get my Paul Heyman on because a couple of marks are going to be talking about that tomorrow.
I'm sure there'll be nothing but Brock haters. You know they will. They can't stand Brock, and it's okay.
It's okay, though, but glad we are back. This is our second episode of season 3, and we have ourselves pretty. I don't think it's going to be a long show, but we got some things to talk about, sir.
I agree.
I mean, if you're ready, and I'm ready, and you, the people, are ready as well too, let's get ourselves started. The NFL celebrated 8 Hall of Famers this weekend.
Yes, they did. I would say I did get a chance to listen to Undisputed. I'm actually quite a fan of Undisputed, actually. Normally I know people give Shannon Sharp a lot of grief because of his antics.
Because of his strange... I'll call the spade a spade. His strange erection with LeBron James.
It's weird because I think they both have it. It's strong for LeBron, but it's one of those things that their dynamic is really good. I'm not gonna lie, but I got a chance to listen to this past one, and they talked about T.O. and they talked about Ray Lewis, but I guess they were really surprised about
Randy Moss. Yes.
Apparently, for the first time, Randy actually showed that he was actually passionate about something other than himself.
Which I still feel like he gets a bad rap for that.
I agree. And it's kind of tough because it's kind of hard for somebody else to say that you don't love football anymore, just because you're going out and you're playing for the Oakland Raiders or, whatever other team that he played for that he didn't seem like he wanted to play anymore. It's kind of tough for somebody else to say, hey, you don't look like you love the game anymore. You should just retire.
That's Bush League.
It is.
It's Bush League.
Even at this very moment, I still think he should have got that touchdown throw instead of Michael Crabtree in that Super Bowl, in the Harbaugh Bowl.
Okay. It's like,
in the Harbaugh Bowl.
You need to call it what it is.
In the Harbaugh Bowl, I felt he should have got the pass rather than it going to Michael Crabtree, because this is something that Randy's been doing his whole career. Michael Crabtree kind of just got here. Or at least at that time, he had just got there. But I mean, ultimately, people were saying that Ray did what Ray does.
Ray did what he does. Brian Dawkins did what he does. Like,
right.
It was a lot of the things that we expected from some of these inductees into the Hall of Fame.
But apparently, Randy really kind of stole it with his commitment to family, football, and faith. And that's pretty good. And he also wore the names of some victims on his tie. I know that was one of the things that stood out to people.
Yeah.
And that's big, because he made a good point. I mean, although these people are gone, it shouldn't be forgotten. And Randy kind of brought it home, saying, that's what these protests are about. I mean, he used this grand Hall of Fame stage. Could you imagine if he would have knelt like right there on the stage, how crazy that would have been?
People have lost their minds.
Everywhere.
People would have lost their ever-loving minds. Like, we would be having people on social media, the same social media Justice Society of America, losing their minds over this.
I agree. I think if I had to say it, this is probably one of the better speeches. Like I said, I've heard a lot of speeches. I think giving this speech at this right time, at this climate, with everything going on, with the protests, with the NFL rules around the protests, somebody who was criticized all of his career, really coming in with so much, I guess, trouble. I think it's good to have somebody like him, present that message, because that could have easily been him.
Yep.
But what did you think about the game? Now, I posed a question about the game itself, and I'm not going to lie, this RG3 guy, I wasn't sure if he cut his hair or if he just had it wrapped up really tightly, but that looked like an reemergent RG3.
A resurgent RG3, and you're absolutely right.
He reemerged. Seriously.
Here's the biggest takeaway that I got from this game. RG3 looked great in this game.
He did.
But the real story was about Lamar Jackson.
And I think that worked for RG3 because that means the pressure really wasn't on him. I think people expect RG3 to probably end up being the number 3 quarterback on this team. And really might not even make it past training camp and make it past the preseason. But I think RG3 has just as much potential to start on this team as Joe Flacco, unless Flacco comes out. Because Flacco's been flat the last couple of years.
He has. And he really hasn't had anyone to really, push him yet.
And I mean, and you're talking about having Steve Smith on your team and you don't have anybody to push you. I mean, that speaks volumes.
That does speak volumes.
So they may have to switch it up. They may need a quarterback that can get out of the pocket, even though both quarterbacks, RG3 and Lamar Jackson, tried their best to stay in the pocket and throw from the pocket. I think that's a breath of fresh air for both of them in order to, basically get that offense going. But I didn't really see anything from, I didn't really see anything from the other team. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the Bears are who we thought they were.
I mean, but you like the quarterback there.
Trubisky?
Yeah, you said you like him. You just said this last week.
I mean, was I drinking a 2 hat when I said this?
No, you was obviously drinking a Coors because it was it tasted terribly for you.
You know, I thought it was Dr. K. That Dr. K conversation that had me tripping.
Oh no! Don't you start with me. Don't just start with me, friend.
I think Mr. Trubisky is going to be okay. I mean, he didn't play. That's why, off the stream, I was just saying how I feel like the Hall of Fame game should be switched to a different day.
I mean, and let's talk about that real quickly, because you make a valid point. You know, it should be not on its own isolated day during the week. It should be either opening night, not during the preseason.
Right, like the first game of the season, it could be a Thursday night game. Heck, it could be a Saturday night game, and we just go out here and we just do this.
This is true, and they're not shy about giving us Saturday night games early on in the season.
Exactly. So I just think that it could be better, because you think about it. Yes, the Hall of Famers are out there. I know they have a lot of partying to do. They got luncheons and all that stuff. But even if they were to make it, and you know what? Think about it. Maybe
those Hall of Famers were. Wait, sir, what does that shirt say again? Those Hall of Famers were limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing, kiss stealing, son of guns.
That can kiss any woman and make them cry. But I feel like maybe they use the first game because they expect starters to play at least the first series. But nowadays, you don't really get any starters at all until like the second or third game, you know. But then I don't know. It's kind of rough. That's why you want the best crowd. I think the first game of the season,
everything's hot.
Yeah, but I can understand why they wouldn't do that at the same time. I mean, as you stated, they would want them to get their own shine. Exactly.
You
know, but I mean, what did you get from Lamar Jackson? I mean,
to quote another great coach, he was who we thought he were.
I mean, absolutely.
He showed exactly what he was able to do in college with his feet, being able to get out the pocket and make a play. The issue is he still isn't accurate as a passer, and that's going to still hinder him, you know, unless he gets a chance to learn behind a Jersey Joe or even an RG3, because RG3 can throw the ball accurately.
Yeah, he can.
You know, but Lamar is going to have those struggles, and, you know, a lot of naysayers like a Skip Bayless is going to be saying, well, you know what, he should have decided to become a wide receiver instead. He could have had a much more prosperous future. But I applaud Lamar Jackson for sticking to his guns, but those same guns might not help him out as the season progressed. Like, you have to be able to hit, you know, simple routes, and he was just... He was having the same issues that Cam Newton was having at the beginning of his career. And even Cam Newton talked about it on John Gruden's QB camp, where he has a habit of trying to play hero ball too much and try to hit receivers even though the receivers are not open whatsoever. Try to fit into tight windows.
Isn't that every young quarterback? I mean, I see Jameis do that all the time. I see
Jameis was actually that QB camp episode was also really good too. And I didn't know you wanted to talk about James because of the stuff that's been happening. I try to stay away from that. Hey, you're bringing us in there. we're gonna save that for the season openers.
Well, he's not playing in the season openers. So,
I know.
Kind of speaks, but I mean, I think that's all quarterbacks. I mean, to quote a famous, well, now famous and just recently inducted Hall of Famer, that's your quarterback. That is my quarterback. And I think looking at Jameis and looking at Lamar.
Wait, I need to go get my shades. I got to do it the right way.
What's that?
I got to go get my shades. I got to do it the right way.
So Skip Bayless did give Lamar a lot of credit. I don't want to play Skip out. He did give Lamar a lot of credit.
No, this is Skip Bayless we're talking about. He's always passive aggressive with his praise.
He was, but he did say that he loved the fact that Lamar came out and he was like, you know, oh, how did you play today? He was like, well, you know, I threw an interception. And he was like, he wasn't running away from his mistakes. And he said, and Skip did give him a lot of credit, saying that, you know, he felt like that was a sign of a guy that's going to be a good player in this league. Whether he is or not is a whole other story. Now, with Jameis, I mean, Jameis is going to try to throw this ball in there, and he's going to try to stick it no matter, and he's going to rely on Mike Evans almost as if he's Randy Moss. Or he's not.
Or T.O.
No. See, that two different people. And
I was hoping you take the bait. I was hoping you take that bait.
That's good bait, but no. So it's funny because I was just listening to a show today, and somebody said, Randy going up for a jump ball is like 85-15.
Mm-hmm.
T.O. is still at that 50-50 level because T.O. wasn't really a jump ball guy. I would say, and people might not like what I got to say.
Uh-oh.
I would say Dez Bryant is the closest to T.O. that there could be in the league today. Not saying that's a great thing, not saying that's a bad thing, but the way Dez plays, he's no playmaker. He's no Michael Irvin, not even by a long shot. But if he
wasn't number 88.
He shouldn't. I've said that on many occasions that he should not be wearing 88.
You're about to trigger some Dallas Cowboys fans, sir.
I mean, I'm just saying the truth. They know it. That's why, you have their new receiver coach saying that they don't have to worry about somebody only relying on the backside fade.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that is what it is. But, I mean, I think Lamar's going to be good. Like I said, I'm really looking to see what they do. I mean, what happens if Joe Flacco just, if he just gets cut? They're like, oh, we paid Joe Flacco too much money. RG3 looks good in camp. Lamar looks good in camp. Maybe we should just.
But how much influence that's going to be, or I should rephrase the question: how much will the fans take influence into coaching decisions for the quarterbacks? Because that was one thing that Skip, Shannon, that pissant Stephen A. Smith, Will Kane, and all them guys, they all said that the fans is going to want Lamar Jackson. How much of an impact, how much influence does that perspective take towards the coaches going, you know what? We want Jackson. Give me Vaughn.
Not Vaughn.
Vaughn.
So it's going to be tough. And I think it's the same as the issue that the Cleveland Browns are going to have with Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing the Jets are going to have with Sam Darnold. I think that it's going to be tough for a rookie quarterback to not be played because the teams that drafted these rookie quarterbacks were terrible. But that's not the case for the Browns. I mean,
nope.
They're going to be so much better this year with all these weapons they have. They could be the 2018, 2019 Jaguars. And the Jaguars might come back down to earth.
They might.
They might.
Or they capitalize on the same success as last year. We don't know this. But I agree with you. The Browns are going to be the most improved team of the 2018-2019 season, bar none. Depending on how, injuries play. You see, I wasn't going to take that bait at all. Depending on, potential injuries that might take place during the season like infighting and things like that, like stuff like that does have an impact. In fact, speaking of like locker rooms going against their coaches, and we've seen this in sports, like people make the same claim about the New York Yankees, but obviously it's not October, so we can't really talk about it.
It's not October. I wish October were here.
October seems so far away. It's like a distant dream, and you just want to go out and grab it. But October just fades into oblivion.
You know what October's like? October's like that feather in Forrest Gump. It just flies around. Every once in a while, it lands right next to you. But then that wind blows again, and it's right back off to the oblivion.
I was going to say, October is like a cloud. And even though it looks like it's solid and you put your hand on it, it just keeps slipping through your fingers.
It's like, come on. Well, October just get here already.
Oh, it's like, okay, wait, October is here, and then October's like, man in the chair, I don't feel so good.
Hey guys, I don't feel so good. It's ridiculous. It really is. But we got some other things to cover. I don't want to rest our laurels on freaking Des Bryant, the Ravens, and all these other bum teams in October. We got dropped the bombshell. I mean, we're switching over. I mean, NFL still early. We're gonna work through those power rankings later on.
Of course, as right before the season starts, we'll talk about the actual power rankings because we don't care about preseason.
You don't care about preseason at all. I remember you were very.
I had the reads. You was on the bandwagon.
I don't think I was on the bandwagon.
You was on the. You wasn't saying that you're a Cowboys fan, but you drank the Dak juice.
He had a great rookie season. Did he not? Did I miss something? Did he not?
He had a great rookie season. You know what? Okay. Let's not go into that because then we're gonna start looking at the stats, and I know there's a guy who had 5 after his initial that might have some kind of qualm about what I have to say because we had this discussion before.
And he might even short circuit.
Touche, sir. Touche. But yes, let's get away from the gridiron. Let's talk some college. You broke this news to me, sir. Tell the people what's happening in college sports.
So when it was initially broke, I mean, obviously there was a news break here that the NCAA has decided to alter their reality. So I got kind of some more information. I'm hoping that Stephen A. was a little incorrect because I didn't read this anywhere. When he said it, I was like, Stephen A., I think you might have this wrong, but I hope that he has it wrong. So apparently, the article here, and I'm looking at CBS Sports. I know we kind of abandoned CBS Sports, but I'm looking at it because it's the first thing that popped up. It says all players who get invited to the NBA Combine.
CBS Sports is like someone not drinking an entire bottle of El Presidente.
Wow, I can't believe you brought that up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I put the doc on tilt.
I have not talked to that person ever since.
The doc is now on tilt, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. I do. Sir, please continue on with the story. The breaking news that happened today.
So terrible. That was so terrible. All players who get invited to the NBA Combine but go undrafted will have the option to return to their school. Granted, they go through this. It's going to be this process. So there's going to be an evaluation process that they have to go through. So they have to submit a request to that, an evaluation committee. They're going to say, probably you're projected to go such and such. And then you can go to the combine, you can go through all of these meetings, you can hire an agent, so on and so forth. But if you go undrafted, you will have the option to return to their former school. Now, that rule within itself is kind of tricky because when you look at a team like Duke, Kentucky, some of these bigger schools where they're relying
Michigan State.
Michigan State. I mean, the only reason I bring up Kentucky, Duke, not North Carolina.
No. You got to say UNC because that is a powerhouse. That's a powerhouse. No. Say it. Nope. You put that. You put that one in your. You put it out there, sir. You put it out there. UNC. Yep.
You want? Okay. I will add UNC because I feel like the rule was created for UNC players because none of them went drafted this year. So all of them under the new rule will get a chance to return to college.
Wow, the shade.
Except for Joel Berry.
He's done. Shade.
He's done. But Stephen A. Smith said that it was only for the elite prospects. And that's where it kind of gets tricky. So the elite prospects who will be determined by USA Today. So USA Today has to determine a player to be elite based on their rankings. And if an elite player can actually go out and get a agent, they can go through this whole process, go to the draft. If they don't get drafted, then they can return to their school.
Yes.
But my problem is what happens if that school, I'm going to go with Duke, because Duke is a more legit team in this scenario. Duke recruits so early and gets so high picks. You're looking at the R.J. Barretts, the Zion Williamson, little baby Jones. You got, some returning players. So we lost a few players. Trayvon Duval might not be able to come back to that Duke team after he goes undrafted. Just can't do it. Nope. You know what I mean? And what happens to those guys who are drafted at the end of the second round, where it's like, man, I could have went back to college to, try to redevelop my draft status. That's where it gets kind of tricky. And who's to say that those schools are going to hold a scholarship for these players where they might be able to swing some other 4- and 5-star talented players? It just gets kind of tricky to me. So the NCAA will, again, work with USA Today in developing a ranking system. So that ranking system, those players are able to work with, like I said, agents. They're actually going to be able to receive meals and lodging expenses being paid for, which is pretty huge.
That is huge. And we talked about this before the podcast, and I said this basically allows the NCAA to dodge that student athletes getting paid stipend, that people have been arguing about, because that was one thing that these student athletes had a main complaint about. They had to go out of their pockets for a lot of this stuff.
I mean, and I wonder if it's indeed them coming out of their pockets, or if it's just them making it seem like it's
they come out of pocket. Yeah,
that they're, you know what I mean? Like, you just never know.
I mean, and for all we know is this also could help, reduce the risk of student athletes also getting suspended because other people are paying for their room, boarding, travel, and all this other stuff. Now this just gives people a legitimate excuse to allow these things to happen. So now it's not taboo for having your agent or someone who should be representing you to be handling all your financial stuff.
See, now it's going to put a lot of, it also means that the agents also have to be certified by the NCAA. So that's where it's going to also get kind of tricky. Yes, certified by the NCAA in order to go through this whole process. But I mean, I'm sure the money that's going to be thrown in, you think about it, I mean, you're going to be squeezing now the agent for money. Yep. You're already getting a whole bunch of money from the students, the players, the student athletes, and you're getting TV money. You're going to be getting money from all these. So, and then they're going to have a committee,
and boosters and whatnot.
Right. You're going to have two committees who are going to monitor these new infractions now. Mm-hmm. NCAA is no longer going to own these infractions, so they're not even going to conduct their own investigations anymore. They're going to have two separate entities, a primary and then a secondary, and then whatever happens, it goes into effect, or that team or that coach or that player has to, take that particular suspension or whatever it is, but it's not going to be based on the NCAA. So the NCAA is kind of taking a hands-back approach to this, and that's kind of interesting to me.
Yes,
because it's always been so conclusive, so hands-on. Like, hey, we're going to take a deep look into this, but now it's like there's so many infractions, there's so much stuff going on. They're like, listen, we just want to make money.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's all this is about.
So I don't
know. This is all about board of trustees of these different schools and the NCAA as a whole trying to figure out a way. How can we make this situation, which looks terrible on us currently, and make us look great public relations wise, and at the same time also still make us plenty of money for us. But
that's tough.
But there's actually two other things that's with this new rule, because I had a chance to read it. I also have it up as well too. One big rule is the change in recruiting, in which basketball prospects can now go to 15 schools to visit versus the 5 that they was able to do before. Student athletes were able to withdraw from the draft 10 days before the draft actually happened. Right. So, that's a major shift of what you was talking about as far as if they go undrafted, they can go back. If they go undrafted and they can't go back to school, I mean, they're pretty much stuck by Chuck, and that's where we have, people going to play out in, either Italy, the G League or going out to Europe or China or something like that. But the other thing, and this one's going to be interesting, I'm going to read this quote. This comes from ESPN.com. Starting in August 2019, Division I schools will be required to pay for tuition, books, and fees for scholarship basketball players who leave the school and return within 10 years to the same school to earn their first degree.
Mm.
Only players who attended school for at least 2 years before leaving are eligible.
Oh, that's big.
There's the caveat.
Nobody mentioned that.
No one mentioned that. And what was it that we kept saying about this whole one and done rule? Did we not say at least 2 years?
That's
did we not say 2 years?
So they're tugging at the heartstring of the parents on that one.
Exactly. So they're like, okay, you can do this. Okay, I'm gonna leave after my freshman year. Okay, great. Well, we want to come back. No. Don't bring that here.
Yeah, you got to re-enroll. You got to get your So wow. So they can keep their scholarship if they go 2 years.
Yep.
Wow, that's big.
That is very big.
I didn't read that.
So much still happening in here that no one's talking about.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Here's the one that's really big with the apparel. So there's 3 of them that I wanted to highlight. So it's just the first 2, and it's the other one. This is dealing with apparel. Effective immediately, college coaches and staff must now report to the university's president or chancellor their athletic-related income that exceeds more than $600 from any source outside of their school, including endorsements or consultation contracts with apparel companies like Adidas, Nikes, and Under Armour. Now, where? Now, who just got the shaft because of some issues, something similar like that? Somewhere in Kentucky, starts with an L. It's a cardinal as their mascot. Doc, what is that team?
Louisville?
That's Louisville.
Louisville?
Yes.
Louisville, Texas?
I think we could call that one the Coach Patino rule.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep. And this is what we do, ladies and gentlemen. We give you the facts. This is the stuff that people don't want to talk about.
No, that's good. I mean, it stinks because it
happens afterwards.
Someone.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. In which he's sitting there, he's basically pulling a Tim Donaghy and blowing the whistle on everyone.
Yes, I'm going to my car. Get the rule books.
Exactly.
I'm telling on all of you guys.
Like, I'm sitting here, I'm going to write cases on all you snitches.
That's right. That's right.
But
I guarantee I'm finished with you. You're done.
But those 2 are, like the last 2, really big.
That is big.
Those last 2 are huge in consideration for now coaches' employments.
Right.
And
you said
students,
$600. You said
$600. $600.
So you can go $599 and you'd be good.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're going to take the same rules as like with banking as far as like the whole layering thing. So, they might have to get a little bit more granular with that rule afterwards.
Right.
Because like after a while they were like, oh well, no one's reporting anything, something's up, and now we see $5.99, $99, $4.50, $5.45, $39 kind of thing. Like,
and people will change the name real quick.
Exactly.
I got $300 from this business. I got $300, $299 from this business.
Now, if they said a cumulative total of $600 or more, that's one thing. But all it says is $600, so they might need to add some more detail behind that one. Because I'm looking at it as, okay, well, each transaction is $600, and that's what these coaches and staff members are going to look at it as well too. So we got to see about this. I mean, this is a educational institution, ladies and gentlemen. They should know about context.
And honestly, you want to know something? A lot of this sounds like it comes right from the mind of John Calipari. Also, a lot of this that they're coming up with sounds like this has Calipari written all over it. Because I don't think he likes to run it the one and done. I don't think Mike Krzyzewski likes the one and done.
No, absolutely not.
They play within the confines of the rules. They're going with the times because they want to be successful coaches.
Yep.
I mean, but you think about it. If you're able to keep a Wendell Carter for 2 years, whose parents wanted him to get his degree, or you're able, let's say a team's able to keep a Joel Embiid who gets hurt his first, most of his time where he's at Kansas.
Yep.
It's like, I can get Joel Embiid for 2 years. Oh, that's fantastic. Why not?
As well as, I mean, who knows? Maybe Joel Embiid didn't get hurt, or that same year he got hurt. Like, we don't know. Right. But that's called paradox, ladies and gentlemen.
It would be good. I just want to see good college basketball. And Duke actually starts playing next week in Toronto, Drakeland. So I'm
you mean Lebronto?
No longer Lebronto.
No. Until they do something in next year playoffs, they are still referred to as Lebronto.
I think the people who were the mayor and the actual aldermen of Lebronto land, I think those people are gone. I don't think Kyle Lowry was as high on LeBron as DeRozan and the coach. I think those two being gone, I think they'll get over the hype of LeBron that he's gone now. That's just my opinion.
You got to be hype.
Absolutely.
But not with Heyman.
Heyman hype.
But there's one more thing with this whole thing, and I alluded to it earlier. Now I'm trying to remember because you making me laugh, make me forget it.
I mean, you're the one that said somebody didn't drink the rest of a Presidente.
You have to admit that was pretty good, though.
That was good. That was like 10 years ago. That's what makes it terrible.
Actually, I think it might have been over 10 years ago. But that goes without saying.
Yes.
I forgot what it was, but if it comes back to me, it'll come back to me. It was a good point that I made earlier in our conversation before the podcast, but whatever. It's cool.
It might have. Was it what you texted me when I told you about the rule, or
no? It was something that we talked about.
I mean, I talked about Heyman.
No, not Heyman. That's Marking Out Amongst Friends tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Time is tentative to change.
Yes, absolutely.
On the Mark It Out YouTube channel.
Those marks.
Those marks just keep you waiting and wanting more. Also, make sure you check out Duke It Out YouTube channel as well too. Duke and Duchess will return soon to give you all your pop culture, politics needs.
Can't wait.
And of course, October is somewhere just flying out there in the ether.
Yeah, I think no, that wasn't him. I think that was just.
But you know what? That's fine. You know what? If I remember, I'll probably talk about it next week. Let's move on. But before we do that, let's talk about our official, unofficial sponsor for tonight. Good sir.
Oh, I've been drinking it. I'm not sure if the people have seen, but I got this 2 hats. Let me tell you. So when I first saw this, I said to myself, 2 hats. It kind of has like a playing card. I don't know if you can see that little queen there. little playing card, this one has sunglasses down here. That's what makes it even sweeter. But it's a light beer, really cheap, $3.99 for a 4-pack. So basically $1 a beer. Natural lime. Don't get the pineapple. It's terrible. But I really enjoy this light, refreshing beer. Like, it's good. And stay tuned. 2019, let me tell you what the doc's going to cook for you. The doc in 2019 is going to go on a beer run tour. He's going to find the breweries in North Carolina, maybe in Texas, maybe a little in New Jersey. And he's going to visit these breweries, and he's going to try to find a better beer than this $3.99 2-hat.
I like it. And in fact, you will find some in Texas. In fact, there's a bunch of them in Texas, and we already have plans whenever the doc talk to Scott to get onto not a yacht, but a plane to come down to the Lone Star State. He already knows that the professor got his 6.
I think that'll be good. I mean, it's going to be good. 2019, just look out for the doc traveling to a brewery near you.
Whereas for me, I am drinking Jaritos.
Fruit punch.
They have very different flavors. You can pick them up at any of your local grocery store. They're actually quite delicious. And the biggest plus side, it's in the glass, so you know that the flavor is sealed perfectly within the container.
I mean, the only thing that sucks is that you can't take them by the pool. But you don't really go to the pool, though.
I don't really go to the pool, though.
Yeah.
But including with that, we also have this glass Canada Dry.
It's funny because I have a Canada Dry also. I have the cranberry flavored Canada Dry. I had to get a cranberry flavored one. But did you know they have a lemonade one? Yes,
I do. In fact, I tried it and I thought it was lacking in lemon flavor.
Interesting.
Maybe that's something that the professor could do. So he can try out different sodas or soft drinks.
Not soft drinks.
Well, okay, quick story before we continue on with the show. So I enjoy going to multicultural markets or Asian markets, to be more specifically. So I went there a few weeks back, and there's this soft drink, and I believe you tried it with me as well too.
I'm sure.
When we went to the Asian market out there in the great state of North Carolina.
It wasn't the Milkus, was it?
Milkus?
Yeah, there's this drink, Milkus. It's pretty good.
No, it's the Calupo drink.
Oh, I definitely. Oh,
yes.
Yes, that is a delicacy. It's very, very good.
Yes.
I usually get the peach myself.
In fact, that was the one that I had the Madam Duchess try, and she found it to be delicious. Though she thought it tasted like a pina colada without the alcohol with it. Make sure if you do drink, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you drink responsibly.
And don't you dare drive.
And please don't drive. We do not condone drinking and drive, ladies and gentlemen. This is your PSA message from Prof and Doc.
The more you know. But yeah, that's a good drink. I love going to the H Mart. I haven't been in a while, but yeah, that drink, I always get it. I usually try not to even pick it up out of the fridge until I get my food, because once you twist that cap, it's a wrap.
Well, so I bought 2 of the liter tall ones. So I got the white peach and also got the mango.
Pure genius.
And it took a week, because I didn't drink the rest of it for a while, for me to finish up the white peach. And the mango hasn't been open yet, because I also have the Jaritos to try now.
Yeah, that doesn't last. I mean, they're so good.
And it's actually pretty delicious too. But I mean, if it's at your local grocery store or supermarket, ladies and gentlemen, give it a try. It's quite delicious. Even the one that doesn't have a specific flavor with it as well too. It's a light, crisp drink that you can enjoy with any meal. So make sure you pick one up, ladies and gentlemen.
And if you live in North Carolina and you're near that Cary area, that H Mart is such a crazy experience. I mean,
I'll
Oh
have to
my
take you
God.
to the one that I go to out here in Texas when you come out here. So
I
that's just
will,
FYI.
because let me tell you, if you go to these Asian markets, first of all, we watch Korean dramas in this house, as you well know. So when you're going in there and you're engulfed in the culture, they got their fried chicken here, they got their ramen shop over here. My personal favorite, of course, is the jjajangmyeon, which is the noodles with the black bean sauce. Delicious. But it's like the whole thing. I think I told my brother, any ingredient that you've wanted to know, where the heck do I get that ingredient from? It's at the Asian market. Jackfruit is at the Asian market.
Which I'll have to try that whenever we get back together. Because I told him, I said, Doc, I'll try the jackfruit, but I'm only going to try it with you, sir.
And I make it nice and spicy, so it's perfect.
Nothing's wrong with a little spicy in your life, ladies and gentlemen. But let's get away from all the different sponsors that we had, officially, unofficially, and let's hit the hardwood on a professional level. Let's talk some NBA. They unveiled most of the NBA schedule for this upcoming season. Of course, the big one, we're going to skip by this one real quickly. LeBron James faced the Rockets in his first LA home game. I don't care, other than the fact it's the Doc's Rockets. I don't care otherwise about LeBron James and the freaking LA Lakers. I'm being real with you. I didn't care about it when he signed with the Lakers. I didn't care about it then. I don't care about it now. I won't care about it in freaking June.
You sure?
No. I'm completely sure I'm not going to care about it.
So, I'm definitely excited about the Rockets versus the Thunder. At least your Knicks play.
On Christmas Day, yes.
With or without Joakim Noah?
It's going to be without. It's going to be without. But speaking of the Rockets will be playing on Christmas Day in Houston, and maybe there'll be a Doc in the house.
Hey, you never know. I could definitely see myself down there for Christmas. I know the Professor John Guy, the King of Anji, the Troll Master, the Data Analyzer, and he's the conqueror of his own fate. He's been out to the great state of North Carolina so many Christmases. I think making it out to the D would be okay.
No, Chris, we're gonna need to tally one strike for the Doc, because that comment was just, in fact, Helen, come back in here. Give him that drop that $5 in that jar. No, that's the first one of the season too. Drop that $5 in that jar. Can't believe you said that. Disappointed in you.
Making it back to Dallas. It would be pretty sweet. But even if I was to catch the Rockets versus the Mavericks, I'm sure the Mavericks are going to be a little better.
Perhaps we can do the kind of seats that I mentioned at the end of last season with the Mavericks.
If they're terrible, which they don't seem to be slated to be that terrible with their new rookie and all, hopefully if it's reasonable, and then we'll have Carmelo, it'll be pretty sweet.
I think that's probably going to be the biggest talking point for your team heading into the season, is what will Carmelo Anthony do? And you heard me talk about it last week when I said that Carmelo Anthony be better coming off the bench to help out the second unit. But as we all know, he'll probably demand to be the starting small forward. And it'll probably end up being that too, because you lost Trevor Ariza. So that might end up being the thing.
So not to jump on this.
And Luke Mute, I believe, too.
Yes, not to jump on this for too long, but Carmelo Anthony receives way too much heat, way too much flack, way too much hate. J Rich voice.
I feel like that a certain doctor is only saying this now because Mr. Anthony is on his squad. But I can recollect many episodes, and we could go to the tape, where the Doc tore a new one to Carmelo Anthony. Not as cruelly as the people.
Right.
But
that's what I'm getting at. Like Carmelo, but also I think people are expecting the Carmelo that they saw this past year in OKC. He's not going to be that guy. I just don't believe that. He's going to be he's not going to be the guy that you saw last year. He's not even going to be the guy that you saw in New York. He's going to be a completely different player because he's getting a chance to, and I thought about this. He's getting a chance to play with his friend. It's like, you know, I met Jay Rich through work, right?
Yep.
Me and Jay Rich are cool. Mad cool. If we're playing basketball together,
I don't know why. I thought you were about to pull a Floji-san and do a perfect legend moment.
But let's think about it though. I've known you for over 10 years. So playing basketball with you would be so much different from playing basketball with Jay Rich. It's like playing basketball with you would be different with playing with October, because he's not going to show up.
Oh
no! but you get what I'm saying though. So it's like you can't say. I'm sure Carmelo, you know, grew fond of playing with Russell and Paul, but it's like you can't compare that to playing with Chris Paul.
I will completely agree with you.
You can't compare it. It's going to be so much different.
Between having to play with a very ball-dominant point guard who's more of a I'm going to score first to a point guard who's going to lead on the floor and put everyone into position to win, I completely agree with your analysis right there because I've been very vocal about my critique on Russell Westbrook.
And the other part of this is that people keep saying that Carmelo doesn't play any defense.
Which is untrue.
I want to say 65 to 70% of this NBA is really more about team defense than individual defense.
Yes.
Because it's like James Harden, first 3 years, he was Ole, let people go. Remember I said he played like he came in the game with 4 fouls.
Yep.
I always said that. You bring in Chris Paul. Chris Paul's like, nah, we're going to play some defense, player. PJ, you get over there. Clint, you stay back there. Trevor, you know, you do your thing, and we're going to be good. Our assistant coach does a great job masking. We switch. I don't believe you're going to see a Carmelo that can't play because you're still going to have Clint Capella back there.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, that's the part. So he's getting way too much hate.
Oh, I mean, you're talking about someone who got pissed off with my fellow Knicks fans when they booed him and started saying trade Carmelo. I was very vocal in my defense about Carmelo Anthony after that time.
Way too much hate.
If anyone understands about the unmitigated goals of hate from pissants like Stephen A. Flippin' Smith.
Too much.
On Carmelo Anthony, it's this guy wearing the New York Yankees shirt. Well, it's a Henley, but that's besides the point, ladies and gentlemen.
But think about it this way also, when you have, if Carmelo would have embraced Linsanity, you know, and this is a time when, you know, Jeremy Lin only had a right hand. He had a couple threes. You know, Mike D'Antoni was like, oh, my God, look at that man bun. You know, I mean.
SB Nation actually just put out, was it SB Nation? No, it was Mike Kozemba, someone who I like to watch on YouTube. Make sure you follow his channel as well, ladies and gentlemen. He does some amazing stuff between some analysis on things that happened in the past, anticipating things in the future, doing some 2K simulation as well, as well as some NBA trivia. So if you haven't had a chance, check out Mike Kozemba on YouTube. But he just put out a video a few days ago where he talked about the rise and fall of Jeremy Lin. And it was quite a great piece.
It sounds like it. I mean, Jeremy Lin was a great prospect. I mean, he came out of Harvard. I mean, he didn't make it with the Rockets. He went out to try. I think he tried out for the Knicks And then, he made the Knicks team, scored a couple buckets, came in, sanity.
No, he didn't make with the Rockets. Then he played for Golden State. Then he went back to the Rockets. Golden State. He just he was off the bench.
Got it. And then he came to Houston.
Then he came back to Houston.
And then we got rid of him and he went to New York.
Yes. Yeah, I cut him and then he got signed off of waivers by New York.
And then he signed $1 gazillion back with us a couple years later.
Yes. And then I cut him and then he went to Brooklyn. And then that's where he had the knee injury. And I believe he got traded to... Where did he get traded to?
Oh, he just got traded to Oklahoma.
No,
they took Schroeder. He went to
Atlanta. It was a three-team trade. Three-team trade.
Atlanta came up with the buyout market.
Yeah.
So, if Carmelo would have bought into that and played second fiddle to a guy like Jeremy Lin, who at the time didn't have a left hand, he hit a couple threes. Kobe locked him up, said, "Who's that?"
And then,
"Who's that guy?"
And then Jeremy Lin decided to crap I think it was 38 points on the Lakers.
Oh yeah, he did. He did that day. But then they figured out how to shut him down, force him to go left,
and stuff like that just happens. That just happens. People get hot in all sports. If you really want to be honest, people just get hot, and you got to ride that train.
Sometimes they get white hot.
I'll agree with you, but we're going to continue on from that part because I don't know where you're trying to go with that one.
But just looking at those Christmas games, I think I'm looking forward to the Utah Jazz versus the Trailblazers only because I want to. I'm only looking at the Utah Jazz for the whole season because Grayson Allen's out there, and I want to see how him and Mitchell play together.
Yes,
it's going to be interesting. I hope he gets some serious play time.
I hope so too. A lot of these rookies I'm looking forward to watching. We just posted something out there on the Debate Amongst Friends Facebook page. Make sure you follow that and hit a like on that as well too, ladies and gentlemen. To where I believe it was SB Nation put their analysis on who's going to be the Rookie of the Year this upcoming season. And they said it's going to be Luka Doncic.
I don't believe so.
And I don't believe with that. Now, granted, I'm a Knicks fan. Of course, I'm going to say my boy Kevin Knox because I saw what he did there and I saw the things that he did in college. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people. But there's so much talent in this rookie class. It's ridiculous. People are starting to compare this to the 03 class.
Yeah. I did see that comparison, but I'm not sure. I'm just not sure.
It's going to be interesting. Either way, it's going to be quite a ride for everyone. So, strap in, folks.
Yes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be interesting. Just as interesting as this past weekend as we transition from the hardwood to the big stage where there's always a mystery, sir. Always. Evolution 2018. We got a new champion. And the Professor John Gotti is going to tell us how Sonic Fox is one of the greatest players of all time.
So not only is Sonic Fox one of the greatest players of all time and one of my favorite esports teams, which is Echo Fox, but he was part of two huge controversies during the weekend. His controversy during the Dragon Ball Fighter Z Grand Finals was after the reset because he was going against Goichi of Japan, or Go1 if you want to just read it like that. Goichi reset the brackets. That means he got 3 wins while he was in losers, while Sonic Fox was in winners. So now Sonic Fox is in losers. So during the reset, they decided to do another coin flip because Sonic Fox wanted to go from the second player spot to the first player spot. A lot of people online was not very happy about it, but it's an actual rule and is allowed. But it's the fact that no one necessarily see that happen a lot. And there's a lot of members of the FGC community who vouched that, yes, I had the opportunity to do it, but I'd rather just keep it going for where it was. Now, unfortunately for Goichi, he got that work put into him on after the reset because Sonic Fox destroyed him 3-0. It wasn't even... in fact, the look on Goichi's face when Sonic Fox after the coin flip became a meme. The second set became a meme as well too, because during the game you can gather up all the Dragon Balls, and if you're low on health and you're on your last character, you can summon Shenron the dragon, and he can give you certain perks, which is either give you full health, lets you use a comeback feature. It's kind of like X Factor for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You know about that one. Called Sparking. Allows you to revive a teammate or, whatever it is that you have available. So Goichi always chose giving my full health back. And it always backfired. So people started coming up with memes like Goichi saying, give me all my health back. And Sharon's like, oh, I see you're facing off against Sonic Fox. Yeah, there's only so much I can do for you, man. Like, it was hilarious. But Sonic Fox is one of the best FGC players in the world, bar none.
And I give him, and I said that because last year when we were there in Vegas, Doc and Prof taking over. In fact,
you said you want to be just like Sonic Fox. You said you are Sonic Fox Jr. I remember this now.
That's definitely not what happened.
I am now like, ladies and gentlemen, please take that picture of the doc right now and put the fox head onto it. I need this in my life. Please, I need this in my life.
If I recall, you recorded the promo that said that you would be participating in this year's Evo in Street Fighter.
Yes. Unfortunately, life got in the way for a lot of things. There's actually, to be honest with you, a lot of people missed out on Evo because of like either life is happening or, as we mentioned when I was on a certain trip a few weeks back, flight delays.
This is true.
So a lot of people really missed out on Evo this year. In fact, I believe the Rise team, consisting of Capcom Pro Tour champion from last year, Mena RD, and Kappa, who was in the top 8 for Street Fighter V, they had such an issue just traveling to get to Vegas to make it towards their pools. That was ridiculous. So, I mean, looking back at it now, I'm kind of glad I didn't go. I had a chance to just enjoy it from the comfort of my home, while making sure I do my regular job as well too, because that's important, ladies and gentlemen. Do not.
That's right. Do
not procrastinate on your actual job.
Don't risk the coin. I was going to say that's a company that I don't think will ever be a unofficial sponsor unless they roll out the red carpet for us. And that's American Airlines. This is
true. But yes, Sonic Fox conquered Goichi. Other notable names in the top 8 was Moke, who was in top 8 for last year for Street Fighter V. He's playing Dragon. A lot of people are getting away from Street Fighter V and starting to go towards Dragon Ball FighterZ. Let me at least say that now, because the next thing I'm going to say, so Moke was 4th place, and tied for 5th place was Kazunoko.
I think I mentioned him last week.
You did mention Kazunoko.
So this is what I feel, and this is just quickly with Sonic Fox. The only reason I felt like he was somebody who's a beast is because each year he's kind of been pushed. Well, last year he was definitely pushed. They took Mortal Kombat out last year. So he said, all right, I'll play
Injustice. Yeah.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to play Injustice. He made it to the finals, got busted up. Oh, he didn't make it to the finals. He made the top 4 or something.
He was in top 8.
He made it pretty far. He got busted up, and that's when I said, "This game is kind of whack."
But you was doing that A with everyone else in the building, though. Come on, you can't say that.
I don't think I did that A.
You were doing it. You were doing that. Stop lying to the people.
I don't think I did A's.
But yes, I agree with you. In fact, Sonic Fox also was in the Injustice tournament as well too, which was a side tournament, of course. And he placed third in that tournament. And a lot of people were saying he wasn't really as focused on that game versus Dragon Ball Fighter. Like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, this was the inaugural tournament at Evo for this game.
And maybe that's why he did it.
Did what?
I mean, maybe that's why he was focused more on this one because, I mean, why wouldn't you want to be the first champ? I mean, that way next year he could be the reigning,
defending, undisputed Evolution champion of Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
He'll go down in history as the first winner.
Absolutely.
It's perfect for the brand.
In other news, Leffen, who is a Smash Melee, Super Smash Brother Melee, I should probably say the whole thing, God, he placed first in Melee, which was on Sunday. It was not on Saturday like it was last year because they learned their lesson. Because after we left on Saturday night and we was walking back to our hotel room, I looked at the doc and I said, Doc, they're going to regret not putting Melee on Sunday, and I ended up being completely right.
I mean, those games, I feel like they just draw more attention because of the action. There's so much action.
Well, the community is so engaged.
That's right, the community, that's true.
Like, it's more or less the community, not so much of just the fan interaction. Like, the community is strong in Melee, and Melee's been out for over 10 years. Like, this is on some Capcom versus Marvel versus Capcom 2 kind of meta right here, ladies and gentlemen. And a lot of people are still saying that Capcom versus Marvel vs. Capcom 2 is better than like Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, because it actually is. I mean, it really is. That's why it was a science tournament. In fact, I don't even know who won that one. I don't even care.
Wow, I feel you.
But it's a terrible game. I'm sorry to say this. Everyone else said it as well too. I'm not alone. It's a terrible game. Sorry.
Hey, you already know my opinions on some of these games, so you already know.
But speaking of Smash Brothers, let's stay on Smash Brothers real quickly because this is where the second controversy came into play.
Tell us about the controversy.
I just want you to let you know that, like, as you're putting that insert, it's like it's popping up on the video.
I just want people to know that can they see it on my listen?
Anywho, Smash 4 or Super Smash Brother for the Wii U had a controversy in the grand finals as Lima and Captain Zack, two well-known friends, were both playing Bayonetta, and Bayonetta was the character that won in last year's Evolution from the guy that you enjoyed watching because he did the thing at the end.
Right.
Exactly. But the reason that they cause so much controversy is the Smash 4 community hates Bayonetta because Bayonetta is God tier. That means it's the best character in the game, bar none. It's about combos, being able to DS out of situations, all that jazz. Like, Bayonetta is top tier. So the crowd, because it was on Saturday, it didn't make it to Sunday, the crowd was booing any Bayonetta player during this tournament.
Everyone
who played Bayonetta got booed.
It's not too many based on what I can see here. I mean, in the top 25 at least, I see 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it looks like 3 in the top 25 from what I can see. I mean, so it's not too much booing at least.
No, so during grand finals, a lot of people were booing. So I believe after the first game, the two players, as I've mentioned, decided to charge up Bayonetta's guns. It's holding down the B button for people who understand the configurations. And they did it for like 2 minutes. And it upset everyone. In fact, the referee had to get on the stage and tell them they need to fight because they are violating the evolution rules. It became a thing. Like, people have been talking about it. They're still talking about this to this day. It was that bad of a thing. And it just showed how poorly the Smash 4 community is reflected and how toxic the players are. And it's a shame. And hopefully it gets better before it gets even worse. Because those same two players were starting to get death threats on social media and whatnot.
Wow.
Like, it almost got really real really fast. It's ridiculous.
Really sad, that's sad.
It's ridiculous. And I have nothing else to say about Smash 4 until they decide to fix up their situation. They just need to fix it.
I mean, let's do a run through then. I mean, I know we talked about Smash. I know we talked about, the inaugural game. I don't really want to talk about Guilty Gear. I mean,
I have to talk about Guilty Gear. And there's one reason. There's one reason I have to talk about Guilty Gear, and I have to do this because this is my boy.
Oh my God.
Ladies and gentlemen, we had a Mike Ross sighting at Evolution 2018. Mike Ross entered the Guilty Gear XRD Rev 2 tournament and placed in top 32.
No, I was going to say, because I don't see him in the top 25 here, so that's good, though. I mean, for a game that, in my opinion, sucks. I mean, to make it top 32 is great.
Well, and I understand his reason for leaving, the Marvel community and the Street Fighter community. Because Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, as I mentioned before, absolutely suck.
Yeah.
It stinks.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just whack. Like, I even had a chance to play it on myself. Like, and I don't even have the shirt on. TAS ... trash. Wait. But Mike Ross was spotted playing, and in fact, he actually was on the stage during the pools, playing Guilty Gear. So shout out to my boy Mike Ross. I'm really happy for him though. Like, he's doing a lot of things that he wanted to do, and he looks so much more happier now. So I'm actually glad for that.
He took some time off, and I think that's what he needed. Hopefully, he'll be, rejoining the fighting game community in some capacity. And I mean, although I hate these games, I'm happy that he's back out there.
But I wanted to at least talk about the Mike Ross sighting, because that for me is special because, someone who, I've had conversation with during our first Evo, and he helped inspire us to keep going with debate amongst friends, and to told me to try to push to do more.
Absolutely.
So that's just something that I'm always going to take with me as we continue on with this podcast. So shout outs to Mike Ross. But the marquee game of the weekend, Street Fighter 5, the arcade edition, had to say that part because it switched from Street Fighter 5 to Street Fighter 5, the arcade edition. I want to say after Evo, because that's when we had the reveals of the new characters that was coming through.
And that was a big thing.
And it was a big thing. I mean, last year your boy's voice was raspy because my boy Cody came back. I was so happy.
But that's so interesting that I don't see a lot of Cody.
No, you won't.
This top 8, top 15.
It's not. It's not. In fact, one thing, and during my predictions, so I had my predictions wrong for Evo, and I had to make a second prediction by top 8. So my initial prediction was either someone who plays Cammy, or I said Smug because I thought Smug was really, really strong heading into Evo.
You did say Smug,
and both of them did not make top 8. So, I mean, sometimes I'm wrong, but
did I say Tokido?
You said Tokido, or you said Katsunoko as well.
Katsunoko. I felt Tokido would get back up there, which he did. I can see that.
So Tokido got to the grand finals via loser. So he was in winners. He was in winners semifinals. and he lost, so he went down to losers. So he had to take the long track back up, similar to last year, because he did the exact same things. And
maybe that's why he likes it. He doesn't want to get cold.
And we talked about that last year during the top 8 as well too. You're like, well, don't they get cold? Like, yeah, sometimes that happens, and that happened to Punk last year.
Now who's on tilt?
I'm not on tilt. I'm just sitting there, just like, I can't believe you're still picking on him.
I'm not picking on him. I'm being honest.
You're picking on him. You know that you're picking on. Stop it. You know that you're picking on him. Stop it.
Eventually,
you are a liar, sir. You are picking on the poor kid.
Eventually, he's gonna win it. But for right now, he's going through that Peyton Manning syndrome, and somewhere he's at home yelling, "Damn it, Donald."
He was one of many who fell pretty early in the tournament. I believe Smug made it in top 32.
Let me ask you, Peyton Manning got bounced in the first round of the playoffs several times.
I don't think Punk left in the first round of the Evo.
He left early.
Yes.
If you're not first, you're last.
Wow. You sound like Duchess right now.
So tell me about this new champion.
Okay, so let's recap Evolution, because the Beta Monks friends on Twitter at the Beta Monk Fra, make sure you check them out, check it out there, was all over the top 8. So we had our underdog, which was the Cool Kid 93 from Chicago. He defeated the Beast, Daigo Umehara.
So he became Spotlight.
Yes. So he was not so much as the L.I. Joe, 2 years ago.
That was rough.
Because that was bad. Yeah, that was terrible. In fact, I think there was another controversy where someone lost on the big stage. I don't think it was on Saturday or Sunday. I don't know. I don't remember right now. But like immediately, someone went up to him to interview about him, and he's emotional. And we talk about this with just the other sports. As soon as you lose a championship game, like, why do you have to talk to the star player of the losing team? Like, he has so much pressure on him, and it's like the world, the world's crashing down, and it hurts inside.
And it hurts inside. Dun, 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 dun.
But the Cool Kid came in. He was playing Abigail.
I see.
And one thing that I like about Abigail, and I like about a lot of the slower characters, is yes, it's rough for them to try to get in there, but once they're in there, they're gonna hurt you bad.
Yes.
I mean, his matchup, and granted, he lost in his first game in top 8. He came through the loser side. I believe he actually beat Jian, who is a very good Street Fighter player, to get into top 8. And that game was actually incredible to watch. But his first matchup was against Luffy. And that first game was probably the most hype I've ever heard, at least, at that point on the Saturday, on the Sunday night. Like, everyone was hyped throughout the whole time because we had a couple reveals, but I'll talk about that at the end. But everyone was just hyped, like, all over it. Like, and he was feeling it too. Unfortunately, after that first game, he came down to earth.
And that happens.
And it happens. It happens a lot too. But big shout outs to Cool Kid 93. I mean, I gave him a congrats. So many people gave him a congrats. Even though he didn't proceed further in the tournament from that point, it's the fact that he worked so hard to get there. And that's one thing that I've always talked about. People working so hard. Like, so many people either are trying to do this part-time, so they're not as good as the people who are doing this completely full-time. Like, and you could tell the big parallel between the skill level when all you're doing is eat, sleep, breathe, Street Fighter.
Right. All day.
Repeat.
Every day. One game.
Versus going to work and then coming home and spending an hour or two playing Street Fighter. Like, it's two totally different narratives.
Sure.
Yeah, and that's what makes the fighting game community or just esports in general so intriguing, because we would have that same kind of situation with regular professional athletes where
Right.
they have to put so many hours in to hone their craft. But that goes without saying. So I wanted to give a special, shout out to the Cool Kid 93 for a heck of a run. Even Kaba, who's on the same team as Bena RD, the Capcom Pro Tour champion, reigning defending champion, should I add. He was in top 8, but he also lost pretty early as well too. I want to say against, is he the Fujimura? I think it was Fujimura. Yeah. So let's see who else. Gacha-kun had a really special tournament. Same thing with Fudo. Fudo and his Mika. I mean, he might be the best Mika player in the world.
He was there last year too, right?
He was in top 8 as well last year. I believe he made it to top 4.
So he's on his way. He's
in
coming.
fact, I believe he also lost to Tokido last year to get bounced out the tournament.
That means I think he's due. He's due.
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned Knuckle-Do.
No. I didn't say Knuckle-Do. I said
no. You knew exactly what you were saying. You knew it. You knew it. Stop it. But
he's infiltrated the top 4 2 times back to back, more than infiltration himself. I don't see infiltration's name on here anywhere.
No.
I see Jian on here. I don't see infiltration's name on here.
Well, Jian is still with I want to say Monster. Infiltration is no longer with Monster.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he's not up there.
Yeah, I think he's with, I want to say Panda Global, but I don't think it's Panda Global. Well, yeah, a lot of people left teams, and I mentioned how, I mean, K-Brad made it pretty far. I think he tied for 25th. 25th or 17th. K-Brad came in there and he brought it, ladies and gentlemen. My boy K-Brad brought it in Evolution. I mean, in fact, he brought Tokido, in fact, because that's when he ended up getting bounced out the tournament. He got beat by Tokido. He gave Tokido a lot of problems with his Cammy.
Absolutely.
A lot of problems with Cammy.
Why did you mention Knuckle-Do? I didn't mention Knuckle-Do.
So one of the early hype moments of the Street Fighter V pools was Knuckle-Do against Uncle Alex Vale. And if you don't know who he is the OG Street Fighter player. Okay, when you think of the OG Street Fighter players, you think of Justin Wong. You think of Stanford Kelly. You think of Daigo Umehara. But another person that people probably don't know of, if you're brand new to the fighting game community, is Alex Vale. He destroyed Knuckle-Do with Blanca. He put in the work, and then he put the entire FGC on blast by saying they don't know about Blanca. He is mid-tier, and I applauded him because everyone's quick to go to the top-tier characters. Akuma, Nakali, Cammy.
Yeah, Mika and Rashid and some of these guys.
Well, I want to say Fujimura had the Rashid.
Yeah, Fujimura. Looks like he had Ibuki.
Yeah, Fujimura is the best Ibuki in the world. That's who it was. So who had
that? Guile up here, which I'm pretty, Kaba had Guile. That's pretty.
Kaba had Guile, but it was a lot of execution errors for him. It was a lot of execution errors.
I even see Meta RD with Birdie. That's pretty impressive too.
Well, and he won Capcom Pro Tour last year with Birdie.
I hate Birdie as a character overall. I mean, just as bad as I hate that other character.
Okay, we're going to have to do a top 5 of your most hated Street Fighter characters on a different episode, because I feel like we're going to keep on going with all this for a long time. So let's talk about the grand finals.
Tell me about this chant. Tell me about this problem.
Oh, no, we're going to go there, okay? I mean, sometimes, there's a problem and you just don't have the answer to it, but the grand finals was with the reigning, defending, undisputed Evolution 2017 Street Fighter V champion, the Demon Unleashed Tokido, against the UK representing Problem X. Problem X came in playing as M. Bison, or Balrog in Japan, or as the people who play Street Fighter call him, the Dictator. So I'm going to call him the Dictator.
Sure.
Tokido was in losers, Problem X was in winners.
Right.
Problem X had the opportunity to beat him in the first set. That's how hyped this grand finals was, ladies and gentlemen. There was no 3-0 bracket resets happening. This was a 3-2 bracket reset. He literally had this much health in that last round to reset the bracket. If Problem X didn't have an execution error, we'd be talking about Tokido losing in quick succession. But Tokido reset the bracket, and Problem X came out to play. He came to play.
He's back, and he's better than ever.
And Dictator ran wild all over a demon. He exorcised the demon, ladies and gentlemen. Tokido, he looked so relaxed, and a lot of people started saying, well, Tokido's going to win. He feels relaxed. He's doing all the things he did last year. But Problem X said, you know what? Hold my ginger ale. I got this.
Wow.
And the last round was so intense. Like, you can hear everyone in the audience just screaming. The commentary is screaming. Shout out to James Chen and Seth Killian for having an awesome commentary for the top 8 for Street Fighter V as well, too. But at the end of the day, Problem X hit a front throw to Tokido to become your brand. No, let me do it the right way. And new Evolution Street Fighter V champion of the world from the UK, Problem X.
I mean, you got to give him credit. I mean,
and the UK representatives who were there ran onto stage, embraced him. It was an awesome moment. James Chen did not cry like he did last year or the year prior. He was very composed, but it was an awesome grand finals.
That's fantastic. I mean, it seems like something that it would have been great if we were there once more. Maybe we'll return within the next year or so. Of course, if Evo continues, we want to be CEOs one day. So
I mean, perhaps we will go to a convention of CEOs.
And it'd be all good.
Get a chance to go to meet up with the cleaner.
Uh-oh.
Who's always that CEO.
Absolutely.
Or like how last year, the doc said what's up to the soon-to-be WWE World Tag Team Champions, Xavier Woods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was right behind him.
But I will say, so some of the takeaways I have from Evolution, before I get to the character reveals for the certain games that happen, the stage changed compared to last year. There is no longer the stage in the middle and the crowd around it. It's everyone is in front of the stage, so you really don't miss out on a lot of things. So that was one thing. I have to give kudos for that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Another thing that I noticed, in fact, I found this out today with a YouTube series called Button Check. You heard me talk about it last week. Sorry, I just got a thing happen. All right. But Button Check with my boy Ernesto Lopez, who's actually out here in Texas as well too. So shout outs to you, man. He was talking about how people were complaining about the cash payout for some of the games that's not as hype, bro, as like a Street Fighter Street Fighter 5 or Smash 4 or anything like that. In fact, Leffen, who won Melee, donated his winnings to the 5th and 7th place winners. Because the 5th, I believe they said like the 7th place winner only had like $130 as a cash winning, which is ridiculous. So
it is ridiculous.
The controversy for, I guess you could say, this week is going to be about the pot split and whether or not Nintendo needs to get more involved with their tournaments for their Grand Marquee tournament of the flipping year, Evolution, which I've spoken with many people, including Gutex, who was also there as well too, and he was doing some awesome things. Actually, he was out there with the people, talking with them with his GoPro, just making things happen there. But on our first Evolution, I asked him, Gutex, you like wrestling just like me. Is Evolution the WrestleMania of the FGC? And he said yes. So the fact that Nintendo refuses to have any kind of involvement during the biggest event, the WrestleMania, the Super Bowl of the fighting game community, is a travesty, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about these character reveals, because there's quite a few. And hopefully I get them all. Please. So one that just got revealed today, Simon Belmont just got revealed. I want to say, when did he get revealed on? I want to say, and I'm actually going to check the Debate Amongst Friends group. Make sure you join that one as well, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Big time group.
Yes, we are actually still sitting at 165 members strong.
That's solid, though.
So Simon Belmont will be joining the Smash 4 community. In fact, actually, it's not Smash 4. It's going to be the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate, which is going to come to the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So he just got revealed today. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with that. But back to Evolution.
Which is a mystery. The
Eureka Fighting Layer EX game revealed that Terry Bogard of the SNK Fatal Fury or Art of Fighting franchise is a guest character for this game. I really enjoyed playing that game. I'm looking forward to playing it more now, especially with Terry's joining as well too. I enjoyed playing as Terry back in the CBS 2 days. Mm-hmm. So I want to see what's going to happen with that. So that's going to be fun.
Absolutely.
Dragon Ball Fighter Z revealed Frieza's brother Cooler as the new character joining the roster. That's going to be awesome.
That does sound awesome.
That's going to be pretty sick. Depending on what's going to happen as he plays, they get a little glimpse of some of his gameplay, but of course, in-depth analysis and things like that's going to be coming along. So once that happens, we're going to place that out there on our social media pages for you, the people to enjoy. Tekken 7. Tekken 7 has a new guest character. But a returning character is coming back. Anna Williams, the sister of Nina Williams, is bringing her.
Of Serena Williams.
No, see, when you say stuff like that, no. I can't believe you said that. Why would you say that? But Anna Williams will be joining the roster. Lei Wulong, who is a fan favorite among many fan favorites for the franchise, is also returning to Tekken 7. And the guest character for Tekken 7. Oh boy, if you're a fan of The Walking Dead and you know who this guy is, the man with the wire baseball bat, Negan is joining Tekken.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. The final reveal is, once again, back to the marquee. It is Street Fighter V. We had two characters, well, not necessarily revealed because we know who they are, but we finally had a chance to look at their gameplay. We have the president of the world who is delivering the messages to the people and power to the people. We have G. And top tier, and I've said this everywhere, top tier has returned to Street Fighter. Sagat is here. They both look awesome. And not only are they awesome, but what nearly broke the internet, and this is before the top 8. So top 8 was already hyped beforehand. It became more hype, and, you know, kind of was hoping they would have done this afterwards because, you know, people were starting to get exhausted after the big reveals. They decided to make both of the new characters available the very next day. So as of this video right now, people have literally had over 48 hours of playing, 72 hours of playing with G and Sagat. The initial feedback, Sagat is kind of whack. G is fun to play. But that's more, you know, still initial.
Yeah.
But that's just because, like, G is a brand new character, and they said that Sagat plays just like he does in Street Fighter 4, which is understandable, and his V skills are kind of meh, but G looks like a grand old time to play. He uses a lot of earthly power, so he has like little novas that he can shoot off. In fact, that's actually his critical art. He says power to the people of the earth, and then he says the planet Earth, and like shoots molten lava geysers, which is actually kind of cool. That's a unique thing that he does. He also has a charging move where he can bring up his candidacy, which is awesome. Exactly, it's very interesting. The story mode for it, I mean, I already had complaints about the story mode for season 3. A lot of people kind of battled me about it, but it's still kind of whack. It's just my opinion. Sorry. But that's my recap of Evolution 2018.
That's fantastic. That was great information. I mean, it's almost like we were there, but we weren't there because we didn't get the confetti falling down on us this year.
There was no confetti.
What?
Nope.
No confetti. Oh, well, that's an issue. That's amazing.
I mean, it's obvious that they called up Vince McMahon. It was like, man, that confetti though, that costs us a lot of money. Well, do what we do with the pyros. Get rid of them.
Oh man, that's good stuff. But Evo, always a mystery. Looks like we are at in game.
Yes, we are. And just like we always do every single week, ladies and gentlemen, we always offer our final thoughts for you, the people, to enjoy. And I'm going to give the reins, and I don't mean Roman Reigns, over to the Doc for his final thoughts for the week. Doc, what you got?
So 2 quick final thoughts. One, we didn't talk about it much at all today, which is great. We probably broke a Guinness Book of World Records of least amount of talk about LeBron James on the Debate Amongst Friends show. But big shout out to LeBron James for this I Promise School. I do think that this is something that is big for his community. I'm sure he has a lot of financial backing as someone who is very popular and polarizing. But I think the idea of the school, fantastic. The other final thought is that there's reports as of 72 hours ago that Ryan Shazier was walking unassisted. So that's great. So he's working more and more. As you know, Ryan Shazier is a linebacker for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Took a pretty nasty hit. You call it clean or unclean, that's your judgment.
That's your judgment?
Yeah, that's your judgment. But it seems that he's recovering very well. So I just wanted to give a shout out to him. And definitely looking forward to also this last little tidbit to seeing the Browns on Hard Knocks. I have not turned it on. I get a chance to watch it tonight, maybe after we shut down the podcast. But another great episode, sir. Turn it back to you.
Absolutely. Well, I was going to recap Evo, but it turned out to not be the case. So I'm going to do my other two.
You did do Evo.
It was going to be my final thought.
For Evo?
It was initially going to be the final thought because I did.
Oh,
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
There's no way. There's no way you could have did a final thought on Evo. That's like
I nearly did a separate video just to recap Evo, but I decided to wait. I didn't know if you had stuff you wanted to add to it, so that's besides the point, ladies and gentlemen. Joakim Noah looks like he's going to be finally off the Knickerbockers payroll. We're going to be saving at least $37 million. That makes me very happy. That's us bringing in.
Please wake the Professor John Gotti up. They are not getting rid of that guy.
They're going to get rid of him either by a trade or going to just drop him entirely. I'm okay with either or. Even if we have to eat that loss, it's going to be money coming back to us. So I'm actually pretty hyped about that. And, you know, as a Knicks fan, I'm ready to move on from the Joakim Noah experience. I felt like had he showed any type of effort to being the person that he was in Chicago, I wouldn't have this issue. But the fact that he came to New York and he was a shell of this former person, and you know what? I'm going to give him props. Like, he's really trying to get himself back to form. But my problem is he didn't do that before.
You can't blame him for the poor coaching, the ownership changing.
Oh no, absolutely not. I'm not all the stuff that's along with that stuff, I can't blame him for. But I can blame him for the things that he does have control over.
Oh my God.
And that's his health. Come on.
Oh my God.
Stop it. You're only saying that so the Knicks can trade him to the Rockets so y'all can get rid of Ryan Anderson's contract. Stop it.
Well, see, I'm not sure anymore, so I'm really thinking that we're going to trade Ryan Anderson for Courtney Lee.
Actually, I wouldn't be okay. I wouldn't have an issue with that one.
Yeah, I'm okay with Courtney Lee. I don't think so, but there's a lot of things. But continue on, sir. I don't want to throw. A rocket your.
Wow. I can't believe you said that to me.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're keeping Joakim Noah. I just want to make sure you got something good out.
The other final thought is actually at the request of the Duchess. So to tell you about the evolution, which is a mystery, of the cheerleading for the league. Two teams, the Los Angeles Rams and the New Orleans Saints, have added male cheerleaders. So that is significant because I don't think that's ever happened. I
don't think so either. But those are two interesting teams, though, when you think about it. The Rams.
But it's in LA, so I think that's going to get. And I think the Saints will be warming up to that one pretty fast.
I don't think it's going to be an issue because, number one, it depends on what capacity these cheerleaders are going to be in. If it's going to be like it is in college, then people won't even look at it, weird at all. It'll just be
basically going to be the same capacity as, just a regular cheerleader during the games.
Because there are some guys who that holds the girls up. There's some guys who do flips out there.
And they could be doing that as well too. And we talked about about the other guys who be on the field. For example, the Cowboys who be on the field. Like, those aren't cheerleaders.
Now, when I was at a high school game last year, I did see some male cheerleaders out there who were flipping and carrying on and so forth.
And that's the thing, though. Like, there are male cheerleaders. We're just saying there's never been male cheerleaders in the NFL. Like, we see male cheerleaders in high school, Pop Warner, elementary, college. We just never seen it on the NFL scale. We don't even know if there's male cheerleaders in the CFL. No one actually talked about that.
Speaking of the CFL, we didn't even talk about Johnny Manziel's terrible first game. 4 interceptions, but he only had 2 weeks of practice, so I can't really.
Okay, I'm like, come on, we can't, come on.
But they were really,
like, if you're gonna do that, like, just call yourself Stephen A. Smith and just keep saying the word blasphemous.
Wow.
I'm going there. I'm still calling you out, Stephen A. Smith. Let's go.
Stephen A., please answer this man's calls.
Pick it up.
But that, sir, is a wrap.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's outro track is called Piece of Soul by DJ Condor on the album of the same name, Piece of Soul, released in 2011. So yes, we're taking it back with a throwback a little bit. Make sure you check him out. We put the link to his Bandcamp page and his Facebook page. Make sure you give our artists a listen, follow them off, and show them some love too. Always big shout out to Croup Dog for being our intro track, heading into season 3, and always keeping our head bumping each and every time. But ladies and gentlemen, be sure to catch David Douglas Friends every single Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Follow us on social media page on Facebook at facebook.com/debate amongst friends. Follow the group at facebook.com/group/debate amongst friends. On our Twitter account at debate amongst fr. You can follow myself at Ken86. You can follow the doc at TL Double. Follow our Instagram account, and you can listen to us offline on SoundCloud, on Google Play Music, on iTunes, and any and all podcast apps. Once again, I am your moderator, the Professor John Gotti.
And this is the podcast beast, Doc Lesnar.
And thank you very much for tuning in. And like always, good night, mwah, and goodbye. Bang!
Taste the ocean.